KLK 102.5 FM. Good morning to you on your Wednesday. It's March 19th, 2025. This is Community Conversation. Kid Wonder is in the studio, and joining me right now is Mr. Rodney Govins. You may remember him from his most recent run for the U.S. House of Representatives, but he is here just to kind of talk about some of the things that are going on politically in the state of Arkansas. And joining us soon will also be Shamal Carter, president of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP. But we'll go ahead and start off with Mr. Govins. Just how you doing today and what's on your mind?
Man, I appreciate you having me. Thank you for the time. There's a lot on my mind, Laganzi. There's a lot on my mind. There's a lot going on. And, one of the things I wanted to come in and talk to you about is commemorating the Bloody Sunday, right? The march was in Selma many, many decades ago. So we've got one plan to commemorate that coming up this Saturday. And afterwards, and this is what I implore everybody to do. If you are listening, if you can hear my voice, please, please, please make sure that Saturday you come to the march that starts at 10 a.m. at 1005 East Logan here in Jonesboro.
That's the E. Boone Watson Center, everyone.
That's exactly. That's the East Boone. That's the Boone Washington Center there. And I want to make sure that people understand afterwards we're having a town hall meeting. And a town hall meeting is so important. This meeting is going to be so important. We have active legislators that will be in the building. We have a lot of questions because there's a lot of craziness going on out here. And this is our opportunity to ask our legislators face to face, straight up, what are y'all doing and what is going on? So this is so important. It's commemorating something that everybody should always remember and keep in the back of your mind no matter what. And, to have, several organizations that are sponsoring this event, that are getting involved. I mean, this is one of the most important things. And I want to make sure to highlight a couple of bills that I know I've gotten questions on. So that's kind of it.
Okay, and of course, we are now joined by Shamal Carter, president of the Craighead County chapter of the NAACP. Of course, Mr. Govins was just talking a little bit about the march that is going to take place this Saturday at 10 a.m. Of course, KLK, we will be there live to stream the march as well as the town hall that will follow the program. But Shamal, is there anything you just kind of wanted to add to what he just said?
I don't know what he said.
Basically, just the basics, just the who, what, when, why, and where.
No, we have a dire need for something by the people for the people, and so we're grateful that other organizations have stepped up, and we're able to unite and partner and show a united front. Show the true picture of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We're hoping that everyone that shows up, I do know across the board the people who have planned this, nobody looks alike, nobody's in the same tax bracket, nobody, we're all different, and so that's the inclusive part of it. So we're hoping that, again, this is the beginning, this is the seed that we're planting, and I'm hoping that the community will water it, something for the people, by the people.
All right. And Shamal, if you could just scoot, if you have to move that chair out the way, fine, just come a little bit more this way. So that way you don't got you in frame. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Mr. Govins had mentioned earlier about that there will be elected representatives there. Are y'all privy to who those representatives will be?
So there will be elected officials there. I will say everyone was invited. And so I can't specify specifically because my secretary hasn't given me the list or names of the people who will be there. But we did send it, and I do have proof in the email that we sent the invitation to everyone. And we also included on the flyer that everyone, and we identified every party, liberals, Tea Party, Democrats, as well as Republicans. And so I will say that we have invited everybody to the table. I will say that Lincoln Barnett and Jesse Magruder, those two have confirmed, as well as J.P. Garrett Barnes. And so I do know that those three have confirmed, but I don't know of any others, nor had I looked, because if you know my schedule, I have about as much time as a single mother with 10 kids. I don't have none.
Gotcha. And of course, it was also mentioned that this march is kind of commemorating the Bloody Sunday March. So kind of talk about how this march ties into that history.
Yeah, of course.
And of course, either one of you or both of you can answer.
So I'll let President Carter here kind of talk about how it commemorates.
So one, as we all know, March 7th was the 60th anniversary, I believe, of what they considered Bloody Sunday. Bloody Sunday was when Dr. King and several other community leaders stood together on a very sensitive topic, and that's voter suppression. And so, as we know, the governor ordered state police and local police to physically harm those trying to cross the bridge to exercise their right to vote. And so, coming up on the 60th year, we sat down and had a conversation, and the conversation said, our history can't be forgotten. If you're not going to teach it in school, then we'll teach it in our community. And so the first thing we did was, well, you know what, we can march. It's not a protest, it's a march commemorating something that was very dear and a huge impact on civil rights. And so with that being the case, we simply get together, we march, we show that we are standing together. And so again, with that commemorating that specific day, of course, we wanted to do it on the day, but in order to do certain things in the city, you have to do paperwork. And so we did not have the paperwork done in time. It's not the city's fault. Let's put that out there. It's not the city's fault, but when you don't know certain policy and procedure, which is a segue to another point. If you don't know certain policy and procedure, then not only will you be delayed, but sometimes you'll be forgotten.
And definitely don't want that.
And let me chime in on the civil rights stuff, because people think that the civil rights movement ended in the 60s and 70s. The struggle continues today. And I'm going to use an example that just, is occurring right now in our state legislature. So a little bit of background, the Civil Rights Act of 1865 made it so that the government was forced to provide equitable opportunities for African Americans specifically, right? But minorities across the board, but African Americans specifically when it comes to getting contracts, getting business licenses, and getting opportunities, not just within their own community, but within society in general. SB 71 has been submitted by a legislator who was invited to the town hall. I hope he shows up. Shouts out to Dan. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday, because he's sponsoring a bill that is anti-equality, anti-equity, anti-access. He wants to remove the ability to provide preferential treatment in communities that are the most oppressed and most impacted by certain civil liberties being removed today. And he wants to make it harder for African Americans and minorities to make their way in this country. And I think that is absolutely egregious, and I think it's over the top.
And of course, and I know that Mr. Carter, when we've been on the air before, when talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, that some people have this misconception that it only refers to African Americans, but it's all encapsulating. It goes across races, it goes genders, veteran status, disability. It covers so much ground.
Age. Like I want to go to that specific demographic for a second. You're 53 years old and you're in the workforce. I mean, we counting down the days at this point, right? Retirement right around the corner. Mm-hmm. But a company looks at a 53-year-old and says, you can't keep up with the Joneses. We need to go ahead and let you go. Diversity, equity, inclusion would protect you and give that company this alternative. You can go hire somebody new and have to train them up and hopefully retain them and hope that they can, get by. Or you can just train this 53-year-old to do what these young guys are doing. That was a cheaper route for the company to take anyway. And that 53 years of experience that you bring to the table makes it a diverse workforce, because some ideas you come in at 53, you're like, hey man, that ain't gonna work. I used to do this back in 1988. Mm-hmm. It ain't gonna work today, and here's why. You need those kinds of viewpoints at any company. You need a diverse workforce because it only makes your product and your company stronger. But now we want to go ahead and get rid of those protections. And that includes women in the workforce. That includes the older generation in the workforce. That includes the disabled community in the workforce. That includes so much. And people only want to use DEI as some kind of almost measuring stick for only minorities. I think that's wrong.
Can I ask
sure.
a favor from both of y'all?
Sure.
Let's stop saying DEI. Because, one, they have weaponized it, and they have dropped a letter from it, which makes it more about race than it is about what it really is about. Reality, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility.
Let's talk about it.
Let's have that conversation. You drop accessibility because it identifies a specific group of people, which will be your disabled people. And you make it about race when you say DEI. They know that. They were aware of that. When that was put into place, it was for, watch this, the disabled, not the minority. Don't know if you knew that or not, but it was for the disabled. We just so happen to benefit from it. Kind of like women in the workplace. It wasn't for black women. It was for white women. We just kind of benefited from it. And so, again, we're not making this a race thing. We're making this a reality thing. Reality is, even with the Civil Rights Act, even though, and this is something, and if you're a researcher, you'll know, Dr. King had a philosophy, and his philosophy was about inclusivity. So he knew I cannot go into a White House or a Oval Office, and yes, I'm asking for something specifically for African American people, but I have to be inclusive of everybody. Because I know we live in a society that's not just, and it's not going to allow me to just give reparations to black people. We're not going to give preferential treatment to black people. We're not going to do this for black people. But we will do it for the handicapped. We will do it for the disabled. We will do it for the veterans. We will do it for the working class white woman. Just so happen they'll fall in line and they'll be able to gain access from it. But at the same time, let's limit that because now I feel like society is going backwards. And I don't know if you guys see it or not, but I'm one. I'm not a historian, but I do study people that I want to be more like. And so looking at society now, you have the most discriminatory bills in the House that you will ever see. I'm not going to blame it on the Republican Party. I'm not going to blame it on the Democratic Party. How can I say that? Because you have Chuck Schumer, who decided that he was going to support, and he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
So it's not a party thing. It is a moral thing.
But the thing that kills me is while we're watching, some of the equity, inclusivity, accessibility being taken away from the most, I would say not just targeted, but the most oppressed groups. Mm-hmm. They're also taking away your ability to change that directly. Mm-hmm. So there are, I think 5 or 6 bills that are in the Senate, the state legislative level right now. It's 207 through 211. Each one specifically targets certain aspects of your constitutional right here in Arkansas to put something on the ballot. Mm-hmm. Each one takes away and makes it so difficult for you to put something on the ballot that now not only are they changing and making us go backwards, they're taking away our ability to try to propel us to go forward or at least stay put. They're taking away your ability as the people to speak out and actually make an impact.
Obviously, people didn't listen when we told them about Project 2025. I don't because it was identified in Project 2025. Mm-hmm. Everything that is happening now, and again, everybody's not spiritual, but again, if I see a sign before it actually comes, the Bible tells us warning comes before destruction. Mm. They released this, and then after they released it, look at what's happened. I'm relatively young, but in my whole life, I've never seen so many plane crashes. This is not a conspiracy. It has, and again, people say, "Well, this is happening, that's happening." Well, no, it's because you have fired, the top people when it comes to FAA. Like there's a lot going on, and it all goes back to Project 2025.
If I take off your oil cap on your car and you driving around, don't be surprised when the engine blow up.
I mean, the motor gonna lock up. That's gonna happen.
Don't be surprised.
But you have a governor. You have a governor that's going to emulate the president. Everything that he does, that's what she's going to do.
Well, and that's the thing about Project 2025, Shamal. We've seen this coming for years.
Yeah.
The LEARNS Act was one of the biggest first steps. There were some other things before that, but the LEARNS Act, and now with the Arkansas Educational Access that she just signed on to, what is that Act 3? No, I think it's Act 301, maybe Act 299.
Is it 299?
She just signed it, so it's somewhere around there, right? Yeah. But it's removing the Arkansas Education Association from all of these education boards. Now, the Arkansas Education Association, people sit there and look at it, it's just a teachers union. No. What they do is they look at your standards, they look at your testing, and they make it so that a kid in Pine Bluff has the same access and opportunity to education as a child right here in Jonesboro. They look at Cabot and they say, what can we do that they do in Cabot, and what can we do over here in Mountain View, right? And by removing them, what you've done is you've taken away all the checks and balances, and you're forcing people onto these boards that have absolutely no educational background.
And of course, with that, we're down to our last 2 minutes. We want to once again give the opportunity to inform the community about the upcoming march and the program to follow this Saturday.
So we do have speakers that's on board for Saturday. The great Kwame Abdube, he is one of my speakers on Saturday. And Dr. Chris Jones, myself, J.P. Garrett Barnes, and we have the floor open. There is a portion of the control of the program that we will allow if anybody else shows up and have something that's an elected official, we will allow them to speak. We have reached out to different people, and we're hoping they'll come out. Again, we want to show up in numbers for this march because of the commemoration of Bloody Sunday, or Selma, as some may know it. And so if you can, 9 a.m. is when lineup will start at the E. Boone Watson Center. That's 1005 East Logan Street. We will leave promptly at 10 a.m. where there's 10 people or 10,000 people. We will march down Washington Street to Church Street, Church Street to Union to Main. And that'll take us to 305 Main Street, which is St. John Missionary Baptist Church. The city will offer bus rides back to people's vehicles so that they can come and attend the town hall and they don't have to walk back. And so again, 305 North Main is where the town hall will take place, and 1005 East Logan is where we'll start the march.
Absolutely. And of course, KLK, we will stream both events live, and of course, during the town hall meeting, if you have questions that you want to ask the panelists, you can drop those in the comments and we will present those to the speakers. So even if you can't physically make it there still will be a way in which you can interact. So definitely hope to see your face up in the place. All right, we want to thank you so much, Mr. Govings and Mr. Carter, for joining us today for Community Conversations. And this is All Gospel Wednesday. We've got great gospel music all day long. You guys have a great and blessed day. This is KLK on 2.5 FM. All right, get this stream stopped.
I'm just glad I ain't cussed.
Man, you did good.